As he is the Grand Old Duke of York from the nursery rhyme,
bus ticket ले लिया हमने once again.
to the top of the hill
35-pound family.
them back down again.
It's easiest way to
another
go
one
around.
of George III's sons, another George who became
चल
George
के थक गए.
IV. He was also the
ये 1.5
subject
घंटा
of a
लेगी.
nursery rhyme. He is
देखते हैं कि
George
कहाँ पे ये
pudding
लेके
and
जाए.
pie, who kissed the
Let's see how
girls
it
and
goes.
made them cry. So now about to turn right onto Cathedral Street, heading for Glasgow's main cathedral. In Glasgow, however, we don't have just one cathedral or even two like they sing about in Liverpool. We actually have 4 cathedrals. As well as the St Mungo Cathedral you will see shortly. Down by the River Clyde we have the St Andrew's Roman Catholic Cathedral. And in the west end of Glasgow we have St Luke's and St Mary's. And these are Greek Orthodox and Episcopal. The St Mary's Cathedral was designed by George Gilbert Scott, and he also designed the Glasgow University buildings, which you'll see later in the tour at stop 14. Now the cathedral today closes at 4 o'clock. The cathedral closes at 4 o'clock, although the necropolis, which is the graveyard behind the cathedral, stays open till about 4:30. So for anyone leaving us at the cathedral, please be aware the cathedral closes at 4 o'clock.
जी मुबारक हो जी, बारिश शुरू हो चुकी है.
So Provin's Lordship is on our right, Glasgow's House, currently undergoing renovation.
हम भी
And
जिद
on
कर
our
रहे हैं और
left we
बारिश भी
have the
जिद कर
St
रही है.
Mungo Museum of Religious Life. This has remained closed since the pandemic, but it's built in the style of the old Bishop's Castle, which was here in medieval times. Street artist Sam Bates, otherwise known as Smug, and this is his modern day depiction of St Mungo carrying out one of his miracles when he brought back to life the dead bird of his teacher St Cerf. And we will see further examples of Smug's murals a bit later on in the tour. University is the world's 4th oldest English-speaking university, after Oxford, Cambridge and St Andrews in the east of Scotland. Now we appear to have a police cordon of vans and ambulances just ahead of the bus at the moment, so it looks like we're going to have to deviate from our normal route.
आगे पुलिस ने भी रोड बंद की.
Very shortly it looks like we will be turning right,
ऊपर से बारिश भी लगी.
and we will then approach some of the
ड्राइवर अल्टरनेट रूल ले रहा
University
है.
buildings.
देखते हैं अब किधर को चलता है. तो हमें अब रूट चेंज करना पड़ा है. अभी देखें किस तरफ चलते हैं.
Graves of the Fowlis brothers each day without realising that they're stepping on the graves of the brothers. So just on this next left-hand corner we appear to have some people having some sort of party. We will see this very shortly as we get to turn left onto Glasford Street. Enjoying myself anyway. The leader at the front with the microphone is probably saying, "Rain? What rain?"
बारिश कोई मसला नहीं है यहाँ पे, मामूलात ज़िंदगी जारी हो सारी।
So now turning left onto Glasgow Street, named after one of the city's merchants. And if you're with us for the complete tour or staying on for a while, you will see Glasgow Street again quite soon as we come back up this way when we get back towards the city centre. Over to the left at the moment we have another mural. This is by Rachel McLean. On this one we have the mural of Sir Billy Connolly, the actor and comedian, and you can see that he's rather splendidly attired. He has a tea cosy on his head, and he has been quoted as saying that if you leave a man alone in a room with a tea cosy and he doesn't try it on, then that man should not be trusted. Now when we get round this corner we will approach stop number 4. This is the stop for the Barras, as I said, and Glickman's. This is the oldest sweet shop in Glasgow, and the story of the Glickmans is that they were emigrating from Eastern Europe to America. When the ship docked in Glasgow, the family must have liked what they found here though, because they are still here 119 years later. It's still owned and run by family members, although as you'll have noticed, the people of Glasgow in 1451 by King James II. Between Christmas Day 1745 and the 3rd of January 1746, Bonnie Prince Charlie and his troops were camped on Glasgow Green and in the surrounding area. This was on their way north, where they met their ultimate defeat at the Battle of Culloden in April 1746. The Prince himself, of course, he didn't sleep on the grass with his men. He had more comfortable lodgings within the city itself. Now the People's Palace is the red building ahead of us over to the right hand side, with the glass winter gardens behind. The winter gardens remain closed for renovation work. But in front of the People's Palace we have the world's largest terracotta fountain. On top of this we have the statue of Queen Victoria, and at street level we have representations of South Africa, India, Australia and Canada. The only building behind the fountain was Templeton's carpet factory. The City Council would not allow a carpet factory to be built on the green, and they commissioned the architect William Leiper to disguise this carpet factory. The building over behind us now, and was over on the left, is designed on the Doge's Palace in Venice. As an organ had been introduced to accompany singing, and as the organ pleased while it was being played, the church got the nickname of the Whistling Kirk. To our left at the moment we have the archway, which is the McLennan Arch, and this was at one time part of Robert Adams' meeting rooms on Ingram Street. The older building to our right at the moment with the pillars at the front is the old High Court building of Glasgow. This was where Dr. William Pritchard was tried and found guilty of the murder of his wife and mother-in-law by the use of poison. His was the last public hanging on Glasgow Green in 1865, and this attracted a crowd of over 80,000 people. Now we're heading for stop number 6 for the scenic shopping centre. We have the River Clyde on our left hand side, and the saying goes that Glasgow made the Clyde and the Clyde made Glasgow. This is due to our trading and our shipbuilding past. The river is known in Gaelic as the Clutha, And just on the right hand side now here we have the beer garden and the Clotha bar with the murals on the wall. This is the bar where a police helicopter crashed into the roof of the building in 2013, killing 10 people. Now we are now heading for stop 6 for the City Shopping Centre. On our left hand side here we have the black and white Scotia bar, just here at the... And in the 1700s this was the site of the Black Bull Inn. And Robert Burns of Scotland's National Bar visited the Black Bull Inn in 1787 and 88. It was here that he wrote the song Acorn's Kiss for a female friend of his, and this is Agnes McElhoe. He had several... Now we are now just going to turn right, and very shortly we will be back at the south, and it was built by the firm of Morrison and Mason. The building on our right, when we get round the corner, was opened in 1888 by Queen Victoria, and there is more marble in Glasgow City Chambers than there is in the Vatican. We have the cenotaph, the war memorial in front of the City Chambers, designed by J.J. Burnett, and you will see it on the right as we get round the corner. It's the white structure on the right hand side of the bus when we get round the corner. Our next stop is stop number 7 for the Gallery of Modern. Also on George Square over to our right we have the 12 statues, but only 5 of the people with statues on the square were actually born in Glasgow. Now the one just on the corner here on the right hand side of the bus is the statue of James Watt, the engineer, and Watt number 7. As you're walking through Glasgow City Centre, I would highly recommend, when you're looking at the architecture of the buildings, take a moment to look up at the top of the buildings as well. There are many fine statues towards the top, and also the pediments, columns and masonry work. So it's well worth pausing and looking up towards the top of the buildings as well as the street level. So very shortly we will pass over Gordon Street at these traffic lights, and when we do so, if you look along to the right hand side along Gordon Street, you will see the main entrance of Central Station. This station is Glasgow on our right hand side at the moment, and the station itself was built on the site of the village of Finnieston, and this village was demolished to make way for the railways. Now we're now at the junction with Argyll Street, running to our left and right, and as we pass through the traffic lights, if you look along Argyll Street to the right hand side now, you will see Central Station Bridge. This is known locally as the Highlandmans or Highlandman umbrella. Highlanders who moved to Glasgow for work purposes back in the day would congregate here after church on Sunday to exchange news of home and family. Now I do have a lady from Inverness upstairs, so I do apologise for this next little bit. But Highlanders are allegedly quite frugal with their money. And if it was raining in Glasgow, rather than go to the expense of buying an umbrella for individual use, they would simply shelter under Central Station Bridge, giving it its nickname of the Highlandman umbrella. The Crystal Palace building on our right hand side at the moment nods to the green roof at the Cathedral back at stop number 2, and it links the modern city with the ancient city. So this is now stop number 2. So we're now about to run underneath the Kingston Bridge for a short time. bridge supports the M8 motorway, which links Edinburgh in the east of Scotland with Greenock out to the west. And when the bridge was under construction in the late 1960s, there was a bit of a gangland feud taking place in Glasgow over Smug's mural of swimmers and divers. This mural on the left now was commissioned by the City Council in 2014 when Glasgow was a host of the Commonwealth Games. 2022 Commonwealth Games took place recently, and these were held in the city of Birmingham in England. We do have the River Clyde on our left-hand side again as we run along the Broomy Law. This is where Glaswegians would come back in the day to board the ferries and the paddle steamers, taking them to the Clyde coastal resorts and the Isles of Bute and Arran. Stop number 10. To the left you will see the Finnieston Crane. The cranes in Glasgow are known as crans, and this explains the name of the restaurant on the right hand side of us at the moment, which is the Cranside Kitchen. It takes its name from the Finnieston Crane or Cran, which is now on our left hand side. So we have the Finnieston Crane or Cran on our left hand side, and it was used at one time to load some 30,000 Glasgow-built steam locomotives onto the ships waiting below. These were exported worldwide. Some of them are believed still to be running on Indian railways. Now we're now in the events campus and we're approaching stop number 11. We have two buildings worth noting in the events campus. Over to our right we have the Hydro building, and ahead of the bus, and it will be on our left hand side in a moment, we have the Clyde Auditorium. These were both designed by Sir Norman Foster, and they both have nicknames. The Clyde Auditorium, which is now behind us, its nickname is the Armadillo, as it resembles the South American mammal. It's actually meant to represent 5 upturned ship's hulls. It was in the Armadillo that Susan Boyle made her debut when she auditioned for Britain's Got Talent. The Hydro building on our left is Glasgow's UFO or spaceship. This is Scotland's largest indoor events arena, and it was opened in 2013. The first concert given here was by Rod Stewart, and it can accommodate up to 14,000 people. Left, and shortly we will pass underneath the footbridge, which links the campus with the car park. You may find it strange that I'm talking about a car park during a tour, but you will see why in a moment. We're now behind the Hydro, and coming up again on the left, we have the exhibition centre buildings. These were built in the 1980s on the infilled fields of road. As I said earlier in the tour, the material for the entrance came from the Skyline station at Hotel in the city centre. The taller tower, which is ahead of the bus at the moment, I will say more about shortly, when we retrace our route back to the West End. This is now stop 11A. Now as we leave 11A, if you look down to the opposite side of the distillery building,
जी तो एक दफा फिर बारिश ने फैंटी लगानी शुरू कर दी है, which is no good. लेकिन journey still carry on, won't stop. Down through all things transport related to a skateboard. This was opened in 2011, and in 2013 it was named European Museum of the Year. And as we approach the museum,
If you look at the unusual shape of the roof above the entranceway, this is said to represent the coming together of the waves of the River Clyde, which is behind the museum, and of the River Kelvin, which is behind the tree line on our right-hand side. The right-hand side of the bus now. Entering North Street, we have the motorway down below us on the right-hand side. We're coming up shortly on the left, we have the library. Top of the library is supporting the Roman goddess Minerva, who is the goddess of wisdom and the arts. The Venture Library is down below the left-hand side. This is the largest public reference library in Europe. The foundation notice that some of the windows have been filled in. This is because in Scotland between 1748 and 1851 a tax was applied to the number of windows in a building, and simply to save on the cost of some of these taxes, the owners filled in some of the windows. And this is the origin of the term daylight robbery, as the people inside were robbed of some of their daylight. We're now heading for stop 13, the old schoolhouse, Verstraegen, and also Kelvin Road Park. Glasgow, per head of population, has more parks and green spaces than any other city in Europe. The name Glasgow indeed can be translated as Dear Green Place. Road for the first time. This tree will be found bedecked in the colours of the suffragette movement, and these are purple for loyalty and dignity, white for purity, and green for hope. Our next stop is stop number 14, the Glasgow University. This is also the... Now we're now approaching stop number 14. You will see Glasgow University on the left-hand side of the bus, and over to the right, in a moment, you will see the Wellington Church, dating from 1884, built in the style of a Greek temple. It's on our right now, with the university buildings now on our left. The spire on top of the university building is a later addition, and it was designed by one of George Gilbert Scott's sons, John Aldred Scott. And it was another one of his sons, Giles, who designed the iconic red telephone boxes, which at one time were found on almost every street corner in Britain. In fact, as we pass through the lights, if you look through the gateway to our left at the moment, you'll see a couple of these red telephone boxes. This was the hospital for the West End of Glasgow. The land was being purchased by the university, and you can see more modern campus buildings behind the older buildings. Glasgow's hospitals were and are known as infirmaries because hospital gets its meaning from the Greek word hospice, and this means guest. You are unlikely to be a guest in a Glasgow hospital, but more likely to be seriously ill or indeed infirm, hence the name infirmary. So this is now us arriving at stop number 16, the Cathedral Museum building on our left. It's a fantastic building, so if you want photographs, this is a great chance to take a photograph as we pass. Stop 16. And when we pass the museum building, if you look back over your left-hand shoulder, you will get absolutely the best view of the university. Now we're about to enter Sutton Hall Street, one of Glasgow's most famous, and it gets its name from the Gaelic Sophie and Och, meaning in meadow of the river trees. If you look just over your left-hand shoulder now, you'll get absolutely the best view of the university. Now next water fountain. This is the Cameron Memorial Fountain in honour of Sir Charles Cameron, who served as an MP for Glasgow for 21 years in the late 1800s. You will notice that it leans slightly to one side in a drunken manner, and this is highly ironic. He was a leading campaigner of the temperance movement. Now we're now approaching stop number 18 with the Charing Cross mansions on our left hand side. These were also designed by J.J. Burnett and are rather French in style. Now as we get ready to pass stop number 18 heading for stop 19, we have Glasgow's first skyscraper on our left hand side. This is the Beresford building. It's the cream building covered with the red and grey detail. Just on our left hand side now. This building opened as the Beresford Hotel in 1938 for the Empire exhibition held in Glasgow that year. It was in the Beresford Hotel that John F. Kennedy gave his first public speech at the age of 22 in 1939. This is when he came to Glasgow to speak to survivors of the Glasgow Line area, and she was the first ship to be sunk by torpedo during the Second World War. And in fact, she was sunk just 8 hours after war was declared. This is us now arriving at stop 19 for the Macintosh at the Willow Tea Rooms and the Glasgow School of Art. Thinking with Buchanan Street and Argyll Street. On this next right hand corner we have the Glasgow Film Theatre. This is the brick Art Deco building. It opened in 1939 as the Cosmo. This theatre has a retractable roof, but due to our climate it's not been open for many years. When we get through this set of traffic lights, you will see a more modern building on the right hand side. This is the Cineworld Cinema Complex. Its nickname is Running Out of Time. And this is now stop number 21. We'll be terminating service when it gets back to George Square, and you will have to transfer to one of our other services. We have a few more things to point out before we get back to the square though, and the first of these is on the right hand side. The railings to the right hand side of the bus at the moment are made entirely from recycled drink cans. And when we get through this next set of traffic lights over to the right hand side again, you will see the glass roof of Queen Street Station. This is Glasgow's oldest station, dating from 1842. From here you can get trains to the north of Scotland and also trains to Edinburgh. You will know where the Edinburgh is Scotland,
which is about I think £8 individual.
Edinburgh
family
is Scotland's capital city. But throughout your stay and because of the tour today, you will have come to realise that Glasgow is Scotland's best city. We do have a bit of rivalry and a bit of banter with our friends in Edinburgh. And here in Glasgow we say that the only good thing to come out of Edinburgh is the train for Glasgow
विजिट के
Queen
काबिल है.
Street.
एक म्यूजियम है, दूसरा आर्ट गैलरी है, तीसरा यूनिवर्सिटी है और एक चर्च था. तो वहाँ पे आप उतर जाएं, हाफ एन आवर स्पेंड करें और दोबारा बस पे आ जाएं. तो ये जर्नी एंड होती है यहीं पे.
The arches just informed me that this bus will remain in service and will leave at
Glasgow
Square
Scotland.
at 5:30.
Thanks for watching. See you in next video. Bye bye for now. Thank
We're
you.
just about to turn left and come back to stop number 1. Again, thank you for being with us today. I do hope you've enjoyed the tour. The main thing is that you continue